Bonjour tout le monde, minasan, konnichiwa, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are on this planet. My name is Yuko DENEUVILLE. For those of you who don't know me, I am a coach now for the past 10 years in mindset, in cross-cultural adaptability, cross-cultural communication, leadership, and some all sort of things. But the main goal is to live a life with no regrets, and I'm helping also my clients to do so. And today, I wanted to talk about a topic which is about perfectionism. And actually, I was going to do it in French, but somehow it's in English. So here we are, perfectly imperfect. I don't know why, but these days I tend to speak more often in English with my clients and in my videos. So the English comes naturally. I meant to do it in French, but anyway, let's roll with English for now. I might do another one in French for those of you who prefer to hear my shares in French. Um, and so yesterday I did a webinar about how to let go of perfectionism, overthinking, over controlling, which is my favorite topic because to me, I think this is the key to truly live a life with no regrets because all the time, most of the time, why we cannot live a life with no regret is because we are our own obstacle. We create our own barrier because we want everything to be perfect. We want to make no mistakes. We want to be pleased, to please everybody. We want to wait for the right moment, right? But the truth is, the right moment never comes. We have to take the leap most of the time. All my best decisions were made when I was not ready, when all things seemed not perfect at all. I gave an example yesterday when we moved to Japan 1 year ago, and I will share more of my experience in different lives. But when we moved 1 year ago, on the paper, nothing was perfect because decrease of salary, much smaller house in Japan, right? We didn't know yet which school to choose for the kids. We had to say goodbye to all friends. We didn't know if everyone would adjust well, my husband and my kids, especially because I am half Japanese, half French. So for me, it is easier normally to adjust due to the language. But on the paper, nothing was perfect. So when we made this decision, we didn't rely on our lists or on a pragmatic list. A lot of time when we make a decision, we are like, okay, what are the pros? What are the cons? But it doesn't work that way. So we had to, and I think, the igniter in this decision because I said, okay, I really want to go. I really want to go to Japan. I don't know why. It's like I want to go back to my roots. I really want to go. Some might say it was my midlife crisis because it was when I turned 40, but I knew inside of me, it was my intuition was telling me that's where you want to go. And luckily enough, everyone was on board. My husband, I'm forever grateful because he was on board with that. My kids also were on board with that. So um, we made this decision and without knowing how it would turn out. And 1 year later, I can tell you, yeah, yes, there were ups and downs. We are still in this roller coaster, I think. Nothing is perfect. There are some challenges, language barrier for my husband, for my kids, but also all the administrative, discovery. Everything is new. Like every new transition, I have to also discover everything, the how to register for the permanent residency, how uh, to find a doctor, the all the doctors, all sorts of doctor. I have to find them all because everything is new and I used to grow up in Japan, so when I was from 6 to 15, but it's a totally different experience now. Now I live here as an adult, as a mother, as a spouse. It's a totally different experience. So anyway, so this is just an example of how letting go of the perfectionism, how letting go of overthinking, over controlling helped me to take the leap to have this incredible experience. And now I'm so happy because we are happy to live here, and there is so much learning, so much growth opportunity as well for me and my family. So yes, and I also had another interesting conversation this morning with one of my coaching clients, and we were talking about her satisfaction level in all areas in her life. So, in her personal life, in her couple, in her career, in her personal finance, in all areas we were. And she told me, you know what, Yuko, what I'm realizing is that I'm very happy in all areas. It's not 100% everywhere, but actually, I'm not looking for 100% everywhere. And I think that was really powerful because it made me realize, yes, we are not necessarily, it depends, of course, on individuals. Some people are very ambitious and want to be happy, satisfied 100% in all areas. And that's okay too, why not? But also, when we realize, actually, it doesn't need to be perfect. I just need to find the satisfaction and the gratitude for where I am now, right? And for what I have also accomplished until now. And to me, that's the key. And I shared it also yesterday during the webinar is to me, the antidote to feeling I have to over control, I have to control everything, I have to be perfect everywhere. The antidote is the gratitude because the gratitude for who you are and what you have accomplished so far, for the gratitude for your journey. I think that's really the antidote because what happens when we want to control everything is because most of the time, because we have a fear. We have a fear of not being enough. We have the fear that something is lacking in us or something is lacking in our life. We don't, there is a lack of information, for example. There is a lack of data to be able to make a decision. But what is the limit, right? How much information do we need to make a decision? This is so subjective. One person might need just one piece of information to make a decision. Another person might need a lot of data, a lot of information to be able to make the decision. And one other person might not need any information and just follow their heart and to make a decision. So this is so subjective, the data collection to make a decision. We also talked about it yesterday. I think it was beautiful because we we had a international group, Japanese and also international, and an Australian. And what happened is that no, Canadian. Sorry, he was not Australian. He was Canadian. Sorry if you listen to me. I'm sorry for the mistake. But anyway, it was international. And what is important is that we also talked about the cultural differences of okay, in some countries we are of course doing some generalizations here. But in some countries, they are more risk averse. Like in Japan culture, usually we are more risk averse. It's important to make a decision after analyzing all data to make sure we take the right decision to avoid making a mistakes. Because in Japan, it's very important to save the honor, right? Saving face is such an important piece of the Japanese culture. But in other culture, like in the United States, where I lived for 10 years, we are much more risk tolerant because it's okay to make a mistakes. If you fail again. If there is like you just do it. This kind of mentality. Um, and if there is a will, there is a way, for example. So all these quotes that are typical American show the culture that it's okay to make a mistake and you won't be judged. And on the contrary, you will be seen as someone who is taking initiative, assertive, etc. So of course there are also these cultural differences to take into account. And that's what I always do when I coach someone. I always take into account their cultural heritage, also cultural background, because I personally believe that we cannot coach or we cannot communicate to anyone the same way. It's so important to adjust our style. But so going back to this topic of perfectionism, I think that yes, for some cultures it will be harder to let go of this perfectionism, but it is possible because it is like a muscle that we need to train. And the way to train it is to make a decision, to act on it, and to see the impact of it and do it again. Decide, act, and observe. Decide, act, and observe. And by doing it multiple times, not only you realize that, oh, actually, it was not that bad. I didn't die from this experience. I can do it again. And also, you muscle your self-confidence. Your self-confidence grows and you let go of the perfectionism because you realize, okay, what is important is just to move forward one step at a time, to take actions, to decide quickly also, because the more we take time to think, it's we are entering in this circle of this vicious circle of, okay, I take so much time thinking, so I don't do it, and then I beat myself up because I didn't do it, so the self-confidence decrease. So the way to increase our self-confidence, the best way, I always say that to my clients, is just to take action, just step out your comfort zone and just do it, take an action. So I shared a couple of things here about perfectionism. This is just for me, this is just my personal, I would say, opinion. But I would conclude by saying that to me, it's so important to just let go of perfectionism, and especially in a society today where perfectionism is encouraged. With AI, for example, we have to write perfectly without grammatical errors. With the influencers online, also, they always show a perfect image of the perfectly beautiful women with makeup and skinny and all that. People living their best lives on a yacht, beautiful pictures. So everything seems perfect on the outside. And so it add on some pressure too. We are like, oh, I should be like this, I should be like that, I should be, why I don't have this? And we start to enter in this self-judgment. So I think it's important to realize that no, actually, perfectionism won't lead to happiness because it's actually the opposite, because we're always seeking for more. So that's why the gratitude is really the antidote for that. And also to realize that it's okay to make mistakes. That's the best way to learn. And that's the best way to grow our self-confidence. And that is the best way also to live a life with no regrets. On that note, I wish you a perfectly imperfect life. And I'm sending you lots of love. Bye bye. Bisous matane. Sayonara.